Simple ways to teach about Pink Shirt Day to children. Hey there, I'm Charlotte for Colorful Teaching for You. Thank you so much for joining me. So this is the time for anti-bullying, and we celebrate it on February every single year, or in February. And this year we're celebrating on February 28th. And the reason for this is because in 2007, a child in Nova Scotia wore a pink shirt, a boy, and he was teased relentlessly. And so the following day, some children came to school and they wore pink shirts and handed out pink shirts so that they could stand in solidarity together against bullying. And this has taken on a life of its own, where different agencies and schools have come together to promote this particular stance. And honestly, this is really near and dear to my heart, because when I first moved to Canada in elementary school, I was bullied like no one's business, and there was no one in my corner to help me out. So it wasn't until I was able to stand up for myself, but I didn't really learn any of these tactics. And so I would love to promote anti-bullying, and I do that on a regular basis in my classroom. We focus very heavily on anti-bullying as part of our health and social emotional lessons, and I'm really hoping that even if you don't celebrate Pink Shirt Day, that you will actually still take on these activities that I'm going to talk about and promote them in your classroom, so that your children learn how to stand up with and for each other, and in a meaningful way, so that they don't ever have to feel afraid or scared like I was. So let's really get into it. Number one, I call it the circle of love, and this is where I would love for you to have your kids sit in a circle. You're included in this, just so that the concept of the circle is so that they form a connection, and you're going to be teaching them about anti-bullying and bystander effect. And then you're going to talk to them about the concept of whatever you talk about in that circle, it never leaves that circle, okay? Because you want to create that safe environment for them. Then invite your students to talk about their experiences with either bullying or bystander effect, and take it a step further and ask them if they would have done something differently during that time. Now that they have learned more because you've taught them, what would they have done differently? If nothing, that's okay. You're also going to think about this as either a one-time thing, so just for Pink Shirt Day, or what I like to do is do it on a regular basis, once a week at least, so that your students are constantly feeling that connection to one another. You're going to see classroom management behavior issues going down. Well, classroom management gets easier and behavior issues going down, because your students are going to feel connected to each other, and they're going to learn how to stand up for each other. Okay? The second thing is conflict resolution play. At least that's what I like to call it. Now, here you're going to teach your students how to resolve different forms of conflicts. So explain to your students why it's important to attempt to resolve conflicts, and then if they're struggling, who can they turn to, so that they're not just feeling alone and isolated all of the time. Then I also want you to take it to give them some scenarios about either children being bullied or children watching others being bullied, and how would they help either themselves or another person out. Have them role play this. They can share it within a small group so that they can learn from each other, or to the whole class, depending on what they're comfortable with. But make sure that they're role playing, because once it happens to them, or they see it happening, it'll become second nature to them, and they won't have to second guess themselves or worry or be scared, because they'll know exactly what to do in the situation, right? So honestly, I like to do both of these activities, Circle of Love and Conflict Resolution Play, together, so that they're learning and they're just constantly discussing what they're learning with each other. Okay, so let's do a really quick recap. We've talked about why it's important either to celebrate Pink Shirt Day, or really just to focus on anti-bullying prevention. And we've talked about two different activities that you could do. One I call the Circle of Love, and the second one is Conflict Resolution Play. Now, if you have any questions about it, please send me an email. If you want a written description about it, please check out the link associated with this video where it says full episode, because I've written it out for you as well. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining me. Remember to create, experience, and teach from the heart. Take care, my friends. Bye.